Hi, everybody. This is Tamara from Moogly, and I'm excited to hopefully be coming to you live on both Facebook and YouTube today. So, since we are live, if you'll bear with me for just a moment here as we get started, I'm going to hit refresh on my phone and my computer here so I can attempt to see all of your comments and questions. So, I don't see it on YouTube yet. Let me make sure that's happening here. Probably just need to refresh my page. One second. Hope you guys are doing well today. It is the middle of October. There it is, 2023. And it looks like we are, in fact, live everywhere. So, hi, everybody. If you're just tuning in, I am Tamara from Moogly, and I am super excited to be coming to you live today in a couple different locations. So, it took a couple minutes for us to just make sure I was watching the comments everywhere. So, hi, Lynn and Francis and Shatika and everybody watching on Facebook. Wherever you're watching, would really appreciate it if you'd hit that thumbs up, heart button, whatever you like, depending on where you are, to let everybody know that we are live. I always appreciate your help on that. So, thank you so much to everyone who's tuned in live and who hits those buttons. So let's get to it. It is almost the middle of October. We are halfway through the month, which is blowing my mind. As always, time just keeps speeding up, and Halloween is right around the corner. So I put out a couple of new Halloween patterns last month, and we had last week a big collection of all the Halloween patterns. So that included Halloween patterns that are on Moogly, past roundups I've done, as well as some 10 actually fantastic new patterns for 2023, ones I hadn't featured on Moogly before. I think all of them were published this year. There might be one that was from last year. I think the one from Daisy Farms Crafts might be her last year one, but I hadn't gotten a chance to feature it before. So do check that out if you're into Halloween. If you want to do some crocheting for Halloween, there's a great big post right now. It's called, 10 new patterns for Halloween, but I've linked to all the past ones as well. So it's really kind of a Halloween mega post. So if you want that, you know where to find it now. All the links, the link to that, as well as all the links I'll talk about today, are going to be at the link in the description, which is currently the top post on mooglyblog.com. All right. Hi, Kathleen. Thank you so much. Hi, Julie. Hi, Sue. Hi, Ashley, everybody. So let's talk about, in addition to the Halloween roundup, what have we done? What can I show you, right? Well, of course, as always, we have our latest Crochet Along square. This one is number 20. I had to check my notes. We're getting towards the end. There's only 24 total per year. We've been going since 2014, so there's lots of squares to choose from overall. But each year is 24, and this is 20. So only 4 more left to go. I've already crocheted one of them myself. You'll see it next week. And just 3 more, and then it's time to start putting our blankets together. It seems like towards the end of the year, about this time, about a month before we're done, is about the time I usually get, I don't want to say tired of my colors, but I'm ready for some new colors. So I know I'm thinking about the colors I will be doing for 2024. Don't worry, we'll definitely be back for 2024 with a Crochet Along. But yeah, I'm already thinking about what colors I want to use for next year. So I will definitely be watching the groups and seeing some of your squares to get a little bit of inspiration. But let's go on to number 20. Here we are. This is a beautiful, gorgeous square designed by Marley Bird with the help of Robin Chichula. Marley and Robin work together quite a bit, and you can see this is a really, really gorgeous square. Now, this is the only square so far this year I haven't had a moment to weave in my ends. So there you go. You get to see how many ends I ended up with, so to speak. And I might have woven in a couple, but I certainly didn't get to all of them, unfortunately, before I had to block it and photograph it. So I'll be doing that here at the end. But this is what the back looks like. And here's that beautiful front again. So not a completely reversible square, but I will say from the back, I think it's still very attractive. It's nicely solid with just a little bit of lace in there. You can see it's just really gorgeous stitch pattern in there. And Marley has put together a video tutorial, I believe, as well as a chart. So this is, as you can see, a more difficult square than a lot of the other squares. This is definitely on the more challenging side if we were to rank them. But Marley and Robin have put together a lot of great resources to help you through it. And then, of course, there is the Facebook group as well. So do check that out if you need to. I agree, Julie. I cannot believe we're at number 20 already. It's blowing my mind. It happens every year, but it seems like it happens faster every year, right? 2023 has been a little bit of a blur. So that is our latest square. I got to get my ends woven in, but then just 4 more squares left and it'll be time to put together our afghans. Just to talk about that for just a minute. because this is about the time people start asking questions about if they haven't already. You don't have to put together like 4x6. If you think 4x6, that would be 24 squares. It's usually about 4 feet by 6 feet, a little more on those because of the joining and the border you add. And of course, depending on the joining and border, that can add several inches. But you can go ahead, add another square, make it 5x5 if that suits you better. Like I say, we've been doing this crochet along since 2014, so there are lots of squares to choose from, including some on Moogly that I've never even used in a crochet along. So you can do all of that. Or you can make, I think people make, what is it? It'd be 3x4. Yes, 3x4. That you can make 2 baby blankets, or lap blankets if you wanted to do that. Of course, you could make 12 pillows. The possibilities, are kind of endless in a way. You could make tote bags out of them. You can do all kinds of things. So if you have enjoyed the crochet along, or you want to join the crochet along and you enjoy making squares, but blankets aren't your thing, especially that particular size, then you have got several other options you can do with those squares as well. So hi, Becky. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining. Yes. So that is the crochet along. Like I say, we're going to keep going for 2024, but we've got a few more squares left for 2023. So I'm excited to share all of those. This year, we used Redart with Love and Karen 1 Pound. Will we use the same yarns next year? I don't know. I'm going to talk to Yarn Inspirations about it and see what's going to be the best choice for next year. It will still be essentially a substitutable yarn. We're still going to use a worsted weight, smooth, with lots of solid color options. I just want to make sure it's a yarn that does have lots of color options for you. So any of those, Redart Super Saver, Redart with Love, Karen 1 Pound. Trying to think, there's probably a few more that just aren't coming to mind right now, but all of those should be able to work great for any of the squares, regardless of, what the designer actually used. So that is happening. And then, of course, we've got our latest new pattern on Moogly, the Frog Squish. This guy, I don't know what it is about frogs, but you guys were craving frogs. This is probably one of the most requested animals I've gotten so far, after maybe the cat, which came out just a little while ago. But here is the frog. I'm going to be filming the tutorial for this a little bit later today, so that will go up next week. You can see here, he is a nice squishy round guy, just like all the rest of our squishes. He uses the same sort of simple half double crochet in a spiral pattern as the rest of the bodies. But we did a couple special things to turn it into a frog. You can see here we've got the froggy feet, which are new, and they actually come in 2 lengths. The back feet are different from the front feet, so you'll want to pay attention to that. They're just a little bit longer on the back. And then we have these, I don't know what to call them. I've just been calling them the eyes or the eye bulbs or the eye bulges. I'm sure there's some actual like froggy name out there, but the eyes, we'll say, are going to be the other new piece. Other than that, this is probably one of the simplest ones out there, besides maybe the ghost. So tutorial for that coming, specifically the feet, and the eyes will be coming next week. Again, all of them start out with a half double crochet in a spiral from the top, beginning with the very first one, which was the octopus. So the bodies are all the same, half double crochet in a spiral. It's the same stitch over and over again. It's just the little bits that we add on that make it unique. So like I say, I'll be filming that this afternoon, and that should go up next week. So thank you to everybody who requested the frog squish. I didn't expect frogs to pop up on the list so often, but I'm glad I got it out there. So I hope you guys enjoy it, everybody who was looking for it. So for that, I want to point out, this has come up a little bit in some comments on social media. I used Bernat Baby Blanket, which you can see right here. Ooh, there you go. Now you can. And I used this in the color green. Good choice, right? But Bernat Baby Blanket is just like the rest of the Bernat blankets. Do I have any laying next to me? Of course not, but you'll have to take me word for it. But it's exactly the same as the rest of the standard Bernat blanket. So it's all that 6 weight. It is all, made of the same stuff. It's the same care instructions. So don't be afraid to mix up your Bernat blanket and your Bernat Baby Blanket. They're completely interchangeable. Really, the baby blanket is just, it's got a little different label. The patterns on the label are going to be a little bit more for babies, but just different colors. It's just going to give you a whole new set of colors, which mix and match beautifully with the rest of the Bernat blanket. Thank you. Jeff popped over to hand me another one. Here is a standard Bernat blanket. And around, so we've got the labels the same here. So you can see the baby blanket. It's just a different label, but is the same yarn. Same care, same weight, same amount of yardage, totally substitutable. So if you can't find this particular shade of green in the baby blanket, grab any of the greens in Bernat Blanket that you like. They all work great. Honestly, I have 4 of them on the shelf, and it was a toss-up for me to pick this one. I know this one can be a little harder to get to. I was just the one that appealed to me on the shelf. But again, any of the greens. I saw one today somebody had made in malachite, which was gorgeous. So feel free to pick any shade of green you like. Or go with yellow, kind of a yellow-brown, and you can make a toad too. So a little bit more versatile. Let's see. Oh, this is really great. Let's see. Thank you, Becky. Julie asked, I'd love a tutorial on how to make a square into a pillow cover. I don't know what to tell you. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I will definitely add that to the list. Let me take a quick note and write that down here. Square to pillow cover tutorial. I will definitely add that. Thank you so much for that idea, Julie. All right. Got that written down. Okay. Thank you. Oh, and thank you so much. I'm glad you guys like the frog. I really appreciate it. So thanks, everybody. Okay, so that's going on. Somebody mentioned Mikey was live today, and I am excited to say I will get to see him next week for the, the Crochet at the Lake retreat in Lake Tahoe. I will be able to hang out with both Mikey and Marley Bird, as well as 100 other fabulous crocheters, instructors, and the workers at Jimmy Bean's Wool. And we're going to be doing a really fun retreat there. So I will actually be away from my desk. I will leave Tuesday. The retreat starts, dropping my pen. The retreat starts Wednesday. And then I will be back Sunday. So I will actually be gone for majority of next week, but I will be teaching crochet. And of course, there will be new posts coming out regardless of where I am. So that's what will be happening next week. And I'm really excited to see Mikey and Marley again. I haven't hung out with the both of them in many years, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. So if any of you are going, I can't wait to see you there. So that is happening. And then also what's happening right now, probably the reason Mikey was live, don't know, but my guess would be that it has something to do with the Joanne Fall Stitch Along 2023. We're talking about crochet alongs. This is a big one. This one was just for fall. And this one just kicked off 10 days ago, October 1st. So Mikey is doing the crochet crowd. They're doing the tutorials for the first blanket, which covers the first 2 weeks. I did the tutorials for the second blanket, which is the second 2 weeks. So the last 2 weeks of October will be my blanket. Now, I say my blanket. Both blankets were designed by the Joanne, the Your Inspirations design team, I believe. And as far as I know, anyway. But Mikey and I got to do the video tutorials for them, which was really fun and exciting. So I don't have a copy of his blanket here. He's got that one. They sent it to him to make the tutorial, but I do have a bit of my blanket that I can show you guys. So a little bit of a sneak peek, except the pictures are up on the website. But this is the blanket I'm making the tutorial for right here. You can kind of see this flower burst lapgan effect. This one is made in the Bernat Blanket Perfect phasing. And just like Mikey's, you can make it in that yarn you can make it in that yarn, or you can make it in Bernat Plush. This is a second version of that same blanket, just made in a different yarn and looked at from a different angle, actually. So this is going to be really fun. Like I say, this blanket tutorials should come out, I want to say Monday, the 16th. So that's pretty exciting. Good grief. I've got too many things here. But so that's coming up. Like I say, Mikey's is going on right now. I believe his second tutorial would have come out this week for his blanket, the one he's doing the tutorials for. So anyway, you can get all of that information. I've got it linked on Moogly. I've got it linked in the post for today. Or you can just go and type in, Joanne Fall Stitch Along 2023, and it'll probably all pop up right there as well. If you go to the link in Moogly, I've got links out to the yarn, and the hooks and everything you need. So just a really fun pair of blanket patterns featuring a couple of really exciting new yarns. So definitely check that out. If you don't like one, make the other. If you like them both, make them both. Totally up to you. So like I say, definitely check out the one I did. I know it comes in 2 different versions, which I think makes it really interesting. Not just 2 different yarns, but 2 different ways to make it. So just kind of a really fun twist on that blanket. So that is happening this month right now on Joanne. That's where you'll find the videos that we made, as well as the patterns, and all that will be on joanne.com. So that's where you'll find all of that. Let's see. So we did the Redart Into the Woods Mobius and tutorial. I did that as a Yarnspirations Lunch and Learn. I no longer have the Mobius, although I did design that one myself. I had to send it off to Yarnspirations so they could take all those beautiful photographs with that gorgeous model. She's so pretty, and she's in several of the patterns, I think, right now. They must have done, one big photo shoot. And so it's just funny looking through. I'm like, oh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. Ah, there's a picture of me. Not quite the same. But that pattern is up. The pattern itself is free on yarnspirations.com. And I've got the tutorial embedded that I did in that Lunch and Learn embedded on the site now with the link to that pattern. So it's all in one place for you. So let's see. I love this request from Julia. Can you make a 48-hour day so I can make all the things? I wish I could, but then I think mine might have to be a little bit more than that too. So yeah, I hear you. It's for sure too many beautiful things. Great question from Eva. Eva asked, it calls for 5 balls. How do you get it to go from light to dark and back to light without stripes throughout? That is the yarn itself. Did I bring that yarn over? Absolutely not. Let me look around. Of course, I did not bring it over to the table today. So I'm going to put Jeff to work one more time. Can you grab me a skein of the Bernat Blanket Perfect phasing just to your left there? The cakes. The one that's a cake. That's one of the exciting things about that. Perfect. Thank you. Here we have a couple of them. Bernat Blanket Perfect phasing. This is the one that you saw in this blanket here. Obviously not the same color, but the same yarn. So what's different about this one? It's Bernat Blanket, just like we were talking about before. Same amount of yardage, but you can see it's a different format. Look at this beautiful purple. Isn't that gorgeous? I mean, this one's fun, but oh, that purple is just so appealing. This is what I'd probably wear. This is what I'd enjoy crocheting with. So right there is your difference. But you can see the color changes in the yarn itself. And the perfect phasing is because even though you can see these are two different ones, you can see they both start with the darkest in the middle and the lightest on the outside. And every single one of these cakes is going to be exactly the same way. So that allows you to totally plan your project. You can start at the light side and know you're going to have a perfect gradient throughout. You can start in the middle on the dark, have a perfect gradient throughout. The great thing is this isn't a situation where you've got different colors tied together. This totally changes throughout the yarn itself. So you can see that even easier than in the skein in the blanket itself. So you can see there's that gradual change. It'd be hard to pinpoint, which stitch. Which stitch did it change from that darker green to the medium green to the paler green? Why am I saying green? Pink. What color, what stitches did it actually change on? You couldn't really point out maybe which stitch, but it's just a gradual change throughout the skein. And each one is going to be the same. So that's one of the really exciting things about this yarn. I mean, I love them both. I enjoy plush as well. I just came out with a pattern that uses it. But look at that. Perfect phasing. Absolutely love it. I think this is going to be such a big hit. Same Bernat blanket you know and love, just in a different format and with that fantastic colorway. So, let's see. How did they do it with 5 skeins? I think, oh gosh, I would have to, you know what? I didn't make the whole blanket because they just sent it to me. I don't know that you really needed. Let me pull this back out. Let me pull out all my information because you're asking great questions that I don't know the answer to. Let me see if I can figure it out here. Okay, the perfect phasing calls for 3 balls. 3 balls. Okay, so that's what I think what's happening. The plush calls for 5 balls total. So if you make this version, the one with this yarn, you would need 2 balls of the main color and 3 balls of the accent color. So the main color here would be the solid, the accent color would be the multicolor. We actually use more of the accent color, so you need 3 balls of that. For this one, we just use 3 balls. So if I go to the instructions, my sneaky instructions, can't show them on camera, but let me take a peek, see if we can figure this out. Let's see. I want to make sure I get the right version here. So this would be version 2. It's actually a really lovely, simple pattern. But I'm thinking what happens as I look at the finished one. Let me pull this back out. I think what must happen is we start at one end with the white and then work our way through the middle and then continue with the middle and work our way to the light again. And I'm guessing that third skein is where we pull out the dark color for the flowers. Because given the size of the blanket, I think you could make the blanket itself without the embellishments, probably with just 2 cakes. I think the third cake is just for those flowers. So that would be my educated best guess. Let me see if I can find more note about that. Yeah, it says just continue on through the pattern. So yes, to maintain ombre effect, join next ball from opposite ends so shades match. So yeah, it looks like we're just using 2 cakes for the blanket itself, and then that third cake is for the embellishment. So took us a minute, but we got the answer. So it's only 3 balls. You start one of them from the light end and work to there. Then for the second ball, you start there and work back out. And that's how we get that fade, with the darkest in the middle and the light at the bottom and the top. And then the third ball, we're just using that dark color to make the flowers, the flower bursts. So I hope that clears it up. Took me a minute to figure that out. So that was a great question. That was a really good question. I just didn't have the answer, but we got it together. So anyway, this is that gorgeous yarn. One more look at that. Bernat Blanket Perfect phasing. You can get it online, and you should be able to get it at your local Joanne. If not, let them know you want them to have it. All right, so that's the Crochet Along happening right now on Joanne's. Like I say, Mikey's got a couple different versions, 2 different versions with the 2 different yarns in his blanket as well, the one he's doing the tutorial for. So definitely check that out. That one's going on right now. Okay, so let's see here. Oh, thank you guys. You are all so sweet. Let's see. Halloween crochet, we talked about that, 2023. We've got our newest collection out, which kind of encompasses all the old ones, a bit of a mega post. And then, of course, we've got a giveaway going on right now. It is for Redart Super Saver Speckle. I'm not going to make Jeff run this time. Really? Oh, I was going to say, I thought I was more prepared for this. I did bring one of these over. Here we are. Super Saver Speckle. Whoop, get it to... Now, this one, unfortunately, I've been pulling this in and out, so the label got a little beat up, but that is the label to look for. And there is a very simple example of the yarn. This one, as you can see, is all neutrals. This one is called Dusty Gray Speckle, but it comes in some really fun colors as well. I've actually got one more skein of it that has a white backdrop with sort of some different bright colors on it that look like sprinkles. So I am working on using that in a project right now, or I'd be able to show that one to you. But this is just a really fun yarn. It's exactly like Redart Super Saver. It's jumbo, so it's a little bit bigger. It's not as big as the skeins of the jumbo in solid colors, but I think it's a little bit bigger. It's 482 yards. I think it might be a little bit bigger than a standard skein, but it is got this great sort of spotty, variegated hand-dyed look to it, basically. This is a look you get in a lot of hand-dyed yarns. Now, it is a little bit stiffer than other yarns. It's still Redart Super Saver. So it's got that little bit of extra stiffness to it, which makes it actually, I think, really easy to work with. You get great stitch definition, and then you can throw it in the washer and dryer, and it usually softens right up quite a bit. If you find that it's not quite as soft as you'd like, you can always throw in some fabric softener or, wash it on a little bit warmer water. It's great for amigurumi. Like I say, I'm working on a project for kids with it right now. And Super Saver is just so great for any project where you've got pets or kids, housewares, things that are going to get wear and tear. You take all this time making something, you want it to last. And Redart Super Saver is always really good for that. So that is our current giveaway going on right now. So you can look forward to that. That is happening. And like I said, I will have a new pattern for that, I believe, next week. So I got to get to work on it this week. But I believe next Friday I will have a new pattern that utilizes that yarn along with a couple of solids. So that will come out next week. So I'm excited to share that. Oh, and I think I'm using a 5mm. Am I using a 5mm? I'm not sure. I'm using like I want to say a 5mm. It calls for a 5.5. So I might be using a 5.5mm on my project, which is what it calls for. And it's a nice fabric that has a little bit of drape, but isn't really loose. So that's a good guideline if you want to try that one out yourself. We also have a second yarn giveaway going on right now. Actually, 2 skeins of this. I only brought one over. But this is the Circulo in Love. Let's see. There we go. Circulo is a yarn company out of, I believe, South America. And In Love is their cotton yarn. And it's just really gorgeous. I made a tote bag out of it. We're giving away 2 skeins. And of course, you can make whatever you like. You can see it's hanked. So you would need to either wind it very carefully by hand or have a yarn winder in Swift. Or, like I say, something you can finagle yourself. If you haven't worked with hanks before, I do recommend that you wind them up either into a ball or a cake, whatever's handy. Don't try and work right off the skein, or the hank, I should say. I've done it myself. Early mistake. I think a mistake lots of us make when we start learning how to knit or crochet and we aren't familiar with the different kinds of skeins yet. I learned that lesson the hard way, so I always want to pass it on. Wind it up into something. Don't try and work right off a hank. All right. Hi, Kathy. Thanks for joining us. Okay. So what else? Those are 2 of our giveaways. Third giveaway just started yesterday. Crochet Cute Forest Friends, the newest book. My friend Sarah Zimmerman. She is the blogger and designer behind Repeat Crafter Me. She's a fellow Yarnspiration Stitch ambassador, and she's just a really nice person and a very talented designer. She makes endlessly cute things. If you've ever been to Repeat Crafter Me, you know just how adorable her stuff is. There's Sarah. But it's just a great book. And of course, it covers some basic techniques. They always do. But this finishing section is really good. I thought this was a really good finishing section for amigurumi. And then, of course, you've got the patterns. Most of them call for Redart Super Saver, which, as we've discussed, is perfect for amigurumi. But they're just super, super adorable patterns. You can see there's a whole bunch of them in here. I believe 26 total, which is fantastic. Another frog. Frogs must be having a moment. And there's a really cute little mallard duck. So lots of fun patterns in there, 24 in total. And you can enter to win this one on mooglyblog.com right now as well. So, and it's, oh, and I should say, it is endorsed on the back by Jonah Larson and Tiffany Brown, who are also both Stitch ambassadors. So that's fantastic as well. So you can enter to win that on Moogly. That's going on right now. And then I've got a couple of sneak peeks before we get to the next upcoming events. I will be doing giveaways for these coming up a little bit later this year. I haven't even opened them yet. I wanted to wait and open them with you guys. So you can see they're shiny because they still have the saran wrap, the wrapper on them. A year of knitting stitches and a year of crochet stitches. A stitch a day perpetual calendar. How cool is this? The knitting one is by Tabitha Hendrick. And the crochet one is by Jill Wright. So let's go ahead and open up the crochet one right now. I'm going to find a hook. I can't seem to find some scissors. Let's find a hook to poke through that plastic and see what it looks like right here. Probably could have taken the plastic off before, but I wanted to show you. This is my first reaction too. I hear these are super cute. So looking at it right away, we've got a really great stand here on the back. You can hear that's really nice and hard. Looks like it folds out. So it'll sit really nicely on your desk or craft table. Love that. And let's start flipping through some pages here. All right, there's January 1st. Looks like a bit of a moss stitch or linen stitch situation. We've got written instructions as well as a picture of the swatch. And then on the back of this one, it's got a great list of abbreviations used. They'll be used throughout the calendar, it looks like. So January 2nd, we've got another stitch pattern, and it looks like that one. I want to see what's on the back here. We've got some more information on the back. Oh my gosh. Okay, there's all kinds of neat information on the back here. It looks like we can really read this from both directions. So from one direction, we've got our regular, day by day. Very cool. Love that. Let me flip this over and see. Okay, I see. That's how it works. When we flip it over, let me do this. We go through January 3rd, and then there's the end of the calendar seems to end in June. When you flip it the other way, I'm literally discovering this live with you guys, so bear with me here. There's July, going back the other direction. So that's really cool. It keeps it from being double thick. You use both those sides. And I love that it's just October 17th or, April 8th. It's not a specific year or day of the week. So that will really make it a perpetual calendar. And of course, you can keep it forever as just a really great stitch dictionary for sure. So I just wanted to see after December 31st. Okay, after we go through all the way through the year, what do we find here? There's gauge swatching instructions. It goes on for a couple pages. We've got a rectangular shawl recipe. How cool is this? So it's much more than just, stitch patterns. There's a cowl recipe. It looks like we could take those different stitch patterns and make a cowl really easily with that. Let's see what else. Joining motifs. There's just pages of great information here, guys. This is really wonderful. There's pages on choosing the perfect yarn, all kinds of stuff. So that is a little peek at the crochet one. Let's see. There we are. Perfect time of year to buy it. And the great thing is, since it's a perpetual calendar, you don't have to wait till January 1st. You can pop it open and start enjoying it now. Let's see. There you can see it sits really nicely. Let's open up the knitting one and get a peek inside. I'm guessing it's going to have the same setup here. Break the plastic again. There we are. Yes, and these will make great gifts for anybody you know that knits, that crochets. Oh my gosh, this is such a great gift. It looks like I'm on the back. These are published by Speckle. I think there might be a teeny tiny print of the price here. Oh gosh, gonna have to start bringing my reading glasses with me here onto the lives. It looks like it's under $30. I can't be more specific without pulling out a magnifying glass, but it should be under $30. And of course, that's, at retail. So here is the knitting one. It's got the same setup, which is lovely. And again, very similar. You can see both sides there now. Same thing. It gives the stitch multiple, it gives the written instructions, and it gives the little swatch. So that is great. Very thorough. Looks like we've got some recipes and things towards the end as well in this one. But I love this, and I love it's on a really nice spiral bound too. Like, I don't know about you guys, I've gotten those crochet calendars before where the pages sort of peel off. This is on a really nice spiral. I wish, if it were up to me, every crochet book, including ones I've written, but it wasn't up to me, would come with a spiral binding, right? I mean, that makes it so much easier. So this is fantastic. Tammy Gant has a great question. Is there an index of stitches? That would be handy. Pardon me doing this off camera here for just a minute so I can see. I don't see an index of stitches. You're right. I think that would have been really useful, and that may have been an oversight. Most of these stitches, I will say, are not named. They are just March 9th, February 26th. So I would say, yeah, having an index of the stitches is probably the one thing I would change if it were up to me. But I do love the binding and the nice solidity of it, and that you could really enjoy it for years to come. Let's see. Oh, and this is neat. I didn't see this one. Let me go back to the crochet one. I don't know if this is one on the crochet one. I think I have to go to January 1st to find out here. Nope. Okay, so just for the knitting one, charts, it says at the bottom here in fine print, I'm going to go ahead and read it to you. It says charts for all stitch patterns are available for download. So you can get charts for the knitting ones. Doesn't look like there are for the crochet ones, but there are for the knit ones. So that is just a little extra bonus there as well. So that's really nice. So like I say, we'll have a giveaway coming up for these. One lucky winner is going to win both, but definitely keep an eye out for these. I'm sure they're going to be on Amazon and all over the place, but definitely a great gift for anybody, any crafty person on your wish list this year. I don't know if Speckle did them for other crafts as well. Of course, they just sent me the knitting and crochet ones, but what a neat idea. I love that they're perpetual. I've never seen perpetual ones for knit and crochet before, so that's really fantastic. So something to look forward to. So there is a link to where you can buy them on today's post on mooglyblog.com. It should be linked in the description if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're watching on Facebook for that matter. If you're watching on the blog, you're already there. Just scroll down and you'll find all the links. So that is all the links for today. But now I want to talk about where I'm going to be. I already mentioned next week I'm going to Jimmy Bean's Wool for the Crochet at the Lake retreat, which I'm really looking forward to. But there will be some more lives before then as well. Today's the 11th. Friday the 13th. What was I thinking? Friday the 13th, I have 2 lives. And why is that? It's because October the 14th is I Love Yarn Day. Very exciting. I Love Yarn Day happens every year, usually the second Saturday in October. So, bizarrely, I'm not teaching any classes on Saturday, but we're going to be doing some other stuff around there. So on Friday the 13th I want to make sure I get this right, at 11 a.m., I believe, I will be teaching the Karen Crochet Waves Scarf featuring Karen Cakes on Michaels.com. We're going back to Michaels. It's been a minute since I've done a Michaels class. We just haven't been doing them as much this year. But for I Love Yarn Day, we'll come back. So I've only made a few inches of it so far. I don't know that I'll get through the whole scarf, but this is basically the stitch pattern. And that's the Karen Crochet Wave Scarf. Again, I've got this linked in today's post as well. So if you don't feel like you need the class, you want to jump in and get the pattern, you can definitely do that. There's a Karen Cakes. They come in lots of colors. This is the one they sent me for this project, which is Red Velvet. Ooh, that's a pretty name for that one. So that'll be a lot of fun. I did find as I'm making this up that my gauge is a little bit smaller than the designer's. So if I really wanted this to be the full 9-inch width, I'd have to go up a hook size, but it's a scarf. So I'm enjoying using it, making it with the hook size recommended. So that will be on the 13th at 11. I will be teaching that live for a free Michaels class. You have to register for those on michaels.com. Again, and then they will send you a link. It will be a Zoom class. They'll send it out via Zoom. It won't be on YouTube or Facebook or anything. So you do need to sign up for that on michaels.com. Again, I do have that linked in today's post. Right after that, so it was supposed to be at noon, might be closer to 12:10 or so. I will be sharing a new, very simple, incredibly fast, very beginner level pattern to turn our squishes into spooky squishes for the holiday season. So that will be Friday immediately following, or at least as soon as we can get everything turned around. That Michael's class, I will be hopping on YouTube to do that on the Moogly YouTube channel to show you how to turn your squishes into spooky squishes. So that's the 13th. Then the 15th, which is the Sunday of that weekend, I'll be teaching a second Michaels class free on michaels.com, or via Zoom, I should say, for the Bernat hand crocheted 3-hour throw. I don't have this one with me anymore because I just sent it off to yarnspirations.com. This was one I designed, but it uses Bernat Blanket Big or Bernat Blanket Extra Thick, whatever you happen to have, to make a hand crocheted blanket. So this is the one I will be using in the class on Sunday. This one is called Branch. Okay, Branch. I see it. Naming things is hard. So I admire however they come up with all these color names. But this is the one I will be using. Now, we've been talking a lot about Bernat Blanket today and saying, Bernat Baby Blanket, it's the same as regular blanket. But you'll notice this blanket, which is the 6 and sort of the standard width, is a whole lot smaller than Bernat Blanket Big or Bernat Blanket Extra Thick. Bernat Blanket Big and Extra Thick are pretty much the same. The skein sizes are the same, and they're sold a couple different places, but they have the same width. So this is the width we want, the gauge, the weight, whatever you want to call it, the thickness of the yarn itself that we want for hand crochet. Hand crocheting with something like this is going to be really fiddly. It's going to be loose. It's going to be lacy. It's honestly going to be a bit of a mess. You really need to have a big, thick yarn. So I hope you can join me on Sunday. If you can't get a hold of this yarn in time, you can try taking 2 or 3 strands of this and doubling up if you want to, or you can just go ahead and watch and crochet and watch with me and work on it later when you get the chance to get the yarn. But it is a really fun thing. Learning how to hand crochet is a lot of fun, especially if you already know how to crochet with, a hook. It can be a big change, but it's not. I mean, you're still making the stitches. It's just a different way of getting used to using your hands. It can be a little tiring, so I recommend if you do a lot of hand crochet, you take breaks. If making a whole blanket, you would definitely want to take some breaks. But it's just a really fun extra way to use yarn and get that big, thick roving look that's so popular in blankets. So that will be on Sunday, and I believe that one is at noon. So, yes, let's see. Oh, thanks you so much, you guys. Is there where can you buy them? Yes, there's a link to the calendars. Yeah, sorry, the retreat was sold out, but yeah. Hi, Ashley. Thanks for tuning in. And hi, Julie. I hope you have a good day. So, yeah, so that will be on Sunday. So that's the 15th. So we've got the 13th, 2 classes, 15th, 1 class, then the 18th, as you may have figured out, since I'm leaving the 17th and coming back the 22nd, I will be at Jimmy Bean's Wool. You might want to keep an eye out on October 18th. I'm not sure of the time yet because there's travel and things involved, but keep an eye out on the Yarn Inspirations page for something happening that day, featuring some of us who will be at Jimmy Bean's Wool. So that's October 18th. I'm sorry I can't be more specific with time, but with travel and things like that, it's all a little bit in flux. Then on the 25th, finally, of October, I will be back here on Facebook and YouTube for another Crochet and Chat Live to wrap up the month and show off the project that I made in the Redart Super Saver Jumbo Sprinkle. Long name, love the yarn. So all that is what's happening this month. So I think yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different future lives coming up this month to look forward to. And of course, many more in November and December. So it's just blowing my mind that we're this close to the end of the year already. We're wrapping up the Crochet Along. Definitely got some Christmas crochet on my mind. Of course, we started that back in July or June, right? Christmas in July. But it is definitely time to start thinking about that stuff. And of course, if you still want to do some crocheting for Halloween, be sure to check out the big roundup up on Moogly right now. So I think I probably ought to let you go. I've been yammering for about 40 minutes now. I got to go film that tutorial for the frog squish. So again, you can grab the free pattern now. Tutorial will be up next week. And otherwise, I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you again on Friday. Bye, everybody.